Hey everyone and welcome back. You know, ever since Meta's CEO and possible extraterrestrial Mark Zuckerberg first announced the Metaverse, I've been wondering if it's trying to turn life into the Matrix. Not the new Matrix, of course, but the old, better Matrix. Not that that was particularly good for humanity. Anyway, people all over the world have been speculating about how the Metaverse is going to potentially change everything about how we interact with the internet and with each other, and a large portion of it seems to be VR, or virtual reality. Now, just to confirm that point, Meta has revealed the VR Metaverse gloves that will allow people to touch and interact with the world in front of them, not in the real world of course, but the one their eyes can see and their mind believes. How are these gloves going to work? How much will they cost? And what does this mean for the Metaverse and humanity going forward? As you might expect, I'm going to answer these and plenty more questions that you might have over the next few minutes in this video, so please buckle up and stick around to the very end. And yeah, if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel and make sure that you ring that bell for notifications so that way you always know what's going on when there's a new piece of interesting news or information pertaining to the world of technology that might benefit you. Alright, everybody finished subscribing? Marvelous. Let's go ahead and get started and jump right in. Now, one of the things that people love and also fear the most about the potential of the Metaverse is the duality of human existence. Now, what I mean there is that there will be two worlds for us to exist in. One real and one digital. This is very much starting to sound like the beginning of a sci-fi movie, of course, but will it be a utopia or a dystopia? The announcement and reveal of the new Metaverse gloves may give us a little bit more insight into that very complicated question. Of course, we already have VR headsets, at least 3 varieties to choose from at the moment, including Meta's own Oculus Rift, which was snapped up by the company back when it was Facebook almost a decade ago now. Inside these headsets is a VR world, a game usually, that you can see as if it were almost reality in some cases. If you already own one of these devices, then you pretty much know what I'm talking about. So far, the PlayStation VR and Oculus Rift have dominated the spaces with their immersive headsets and hand controllers, but these are soon going to be rendered completely obsolete because Meta is cooking up a storm with something new and groundbreaking. In essence, this is a glove, but it's much more than that. It will basically allow you to be able to feel anything that you touch within the Metaverse, or any other virtual reality universe that you might feel like entering. With these VR gloves, you'll be able to feel anything that you place your hand on. This is going to go a major way into actually bringing something like the movie Ready Player One into reality, as immersion is not just what you can see, but also very much about what you can touch. In fact, out of all 5 human senses, sight and touch are probably the most important to our human experience, with hearing being a close third. After all, the way that human beings interact with the world and define reality is based entirely on how our senses react to the world around us. For example, when your alarm clock wakes you up in the morning, you've basically forced your brain to engage with your sense of hearing. As your eyes open, you expect to be in a familiar location, and probably expect your phone to feel like your phone as you turn off your alarm, assuming you use your phone. But you get my point. Imagine for a second that you went to touch something and you felt nothing at all. Your subconscious mind is no longer enough to interpret the world, and so your conscious mind would override it and query what is wrong with your situation. Now, the Meta Glove, as it's known, has been working hard in secret for several years now in order to produce this glove that allows you to feel, as closely as possible to reality, the world around you within a virtual universe. If you look at the device as it is working in the tests and demos right now, you can probably tell that we're still a while away yet from this being ready for general consumer use. But the haptics prototype is a strap-on unity that has 15 inflatable plastic pads on it. These are called actuators, and they fit onto the user's palm. Realistically, this isn't so different from your standard VR controller and how it works. The markers upon it are similar to those you see when you watch behind-the-scenes videos on how motion capture works, but that's about where the similarities end. The Meta Glove also plays home to multiple sensors that can simulate how pressure and capture feel when you use your hands. As you might be able to guess, the actuators on the device also help to replicate the feel of different objects in your hand, adjusting and inflating to replicate hard, soft, etc. So then, like in real life, when you wear the glove and touch something in the VR world, the pressure upon your skin is designed to perfectly replicate the sensation that you would feel in your hand if you were touching that thing in reality. The sensations that your hands feel work alongside the visual and audio cues by the VR system to produce the most accurate sensation possible. When Facebook bought Oculus in 2012, they hadn't done more than a one-finger actuator. But now, thanks to Facebook, or I suppose I should call it Meta, that they're much closer to the reality of an entire hand feeling realistically as it touches various different things in the Metaverse. They're coupled with another acquisition that Meta made in 2019, EMD wristbands, which are devices that track movement from your signals. This sounds basic, but no, they can in fact sense the nervous signals that are sent from your brain to your fingers when performing precision movements, like for a basic example, typing. This would mean that you could use virtually any service to make for a mental keyboard of sorts. Now, their main purpose isn't really intended for the metaverse, as they have a lot of much better potential applications. Imagine if you could perform virtually some acts that require extreme precision, but in situations that are dangerous to humans, like disarming bombs using a robotic hand, just off the top of my head. Now, this probably all sounds really impressive already, right? Well, of course it is. But it's also just a drop in the ocean compared to what Meta really wants to provide for its customers. At the moment, the gloves barely scratch 100 actuators in the prototypes, but Meta wants to put far more in. How many more, you might ask? How about 1,000? Catherine Healy, one of the lab researchers at Meta, criticized the current version, saying that with the feeling the gloves are currently capable of producing, you could pet a dog, but you wouldn't be able to feel the texture, presumably of the fur, and so on. Another problem that would occur in the future with the development of the Meta glove relates to size, and the fact that the current prototype version is, well, it's too big and bulky, with various cables and other things that have to be connected to it. Meta wants them to be able to provide realistic touch without needing to be unnecessarily cumbersome. This is true of the headset too. At the moment, people playing VR games look like they've been attacked by some kind of robot designed to remove all humanity from their faces. Something as cumbersome as this could never be used at something like a real-world function. The devices overall need to be smaller and much more adherent to the sorts of general situations that we humans find ourselves in every single day. Now, the other issue that might present itself, if you think about it for a little longer than a second, is the fact that these things, cool as they are going to need to be life-proof. What I mean by that is to say that they're going to be coming out of the box being brand new and very effective, and likely very expensive, at least at first. They're going to be getting dropped and smashed and covered in dirt and need washing, and they'll need to be easy to fix or replace, or any of those things that can happen to your possessions in life. There's another problem here, of course, and that's that Meta, or rather the company formerly known as Facebook, is going to have to assure people that it's not going to use a glove that can store and access your biometric information to sell that information to third parties. You know, like Facebook is infamous for doing. Security concerns surrounding Zuckerberg and the company will need to be addressed if the possible robo-lizard himself is going to be able to convince anyone to buy this stuff. Since Meta is betting the farm on the metaverse, at least by all accounts, then they're going to have to sort out all that looming reputation of being extremely unscrupulous with other people's data. Unless, of course, that the whole thing really is intended to become a bit of a matrix. But what do you think? Are you hyped for the Meta gloves and the metaverse in general? Or are you terrified of handing your basic bodily senses to the same people who promote lockdowns and steal your data? Would you buy the equipment to be an early adopter, or prefer to let technology run its course, reducing costs and adopt at a time when you feel less pressure? What would you pay for this tech? Let me know in the comment section below. And of course, subscribe to the channel and ring that bell for notifications so that you never miss out on any cool new developments like this one. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in our next video.